Alright guys, in this one we're going to refit the panel and then take it back off again. This video is sort of all over the show really, because it's been filmed over 2 or 3 weeks. So we do the side panel and a bit of work on the roof. Alright, enjoy. Alright, in this one we're going to finally put these windows back in. What I have done is I've started to unpick this roof, and this moulding down here I've just taken off, which runs all the way along the top of here. So it looks like I can just quite easily take this bit off here, and hopefully that's going to get me to these screws, these rivets. So I'm going to have a play with that. I'll play with it now. Alright, as you can see with this is just a bit that's riveted onto the roof here. So it really should have a bead of silicone along there. So what I'm going to do is, when I do this roof, I'm going to go right round it. I have to take all these mouldings off and reseal them before I put them back on again. Alright, I've just stopped here because I'm sort of wondering whether I'm actually achieving something by taking all this apart. What I was trying to do was hopefully expose some top rivets here, but when we take this apart, you've got the roof skin there, then under there there's all sorts of other layers as well. So I'm going to go with plan A and tap this down here a bit flatter and hope that it goes inside this. I'm not recording that very well. I'll go around the other side where the light's better. Hoping it goes inside that, which is not going to be easy, but we'll give it a go now, otherwise I am going to have to take it apart at the top. Alright, we'll give it a whirl. I'm trying to get these things interlocked just by tapping it and hoping that they lock together. Some places they, yeah, you see it's just popping straight off again. I have no choice but to take all of that apart, which I'm not real excited about, but I just don't have a choice. So I might as well just bite the bullet and start on it now. Okay, I've just got this bit off here. I'm gonna have to, just get down off the ladder, undo that. 1, 2 hidden, another one hidden, another one partially hidden, but I might be able to just bend that back a bit and undo those, and then hopefully this panel will come undone. Certainly a lot more complicated than the model before. Yeah, I still don't really know how all that pieces together up in there. It looks like layer upon layer. It's this bit here. Not sure what that is. Anyway, we're going to do it without taking too much apart and see how we go. Alright, that's probably the longest 2 hours or so of my life that we've been struggling with this panel to try and get it locked in. We had to take it off completely at the top and then try and push it up in the bottom, and it was an absolute nightmare. Probably why I've been so scared of it, but it's finally in and it's locked in, and hopefully it stays there, otherwise I'm just going to burn it. Alright. Frustrating couple of hours. We'll come back to it in the morning, or tomorrow afternoon. Alright, look, it's been a couple of weeks since we last worked on this thing, and we just put the panel on, which for you guys was about 5 seconds ago, but for us it was 2 weeks ago. And when I've looked at it, if you look down here in the light, every time I walk past it, I see all these ripples all the way through here. And I know that it's going to look awful when we paint it. And I've been trying to avoid replacing this panel, but to be honest, you know, we're just not going to get a good result. So,
and if we take it off, it's going to be more content, so it's going to be better for us and you guys.
yeah, exactly. One of the problems we've got is the old power cable comes through here, and electricians get really fussy about having to work on stuff with old wiring. But I've just spoken to my Sparky, and he said, look, it's fine if you cut the cable. He'll feed a new cable in here, and then we're going to put a new plug on it anyway, because that's going to look hideous on a new paint job. So what we're going to do after all of that is I'm going to take it all apart again. All right, I'll grab some side shutters. So when they built this, they've obviously wired this thing up and then run the cable through and joined it at the other end, so they've given us no length, so I can't pull that out and undo the cables in behind. So I've just got off the phone with the Sparky, and he said cut it, so that's what I'm doing.
When we're done with this, it's going to look all really nice. Like a nice new plug.
There we go.
Like a nice new plug, eh?
So now I've got a big hole in the side of it, and we're going to take everything apart that we just put back together again.
Okay.
What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and cheat and see if I can take this panel off without taking the windows off. So we'll have a go and see how we get on. Right, that actually came off easier than what I thought, which doesn't normally happen.
Look how clean the styrofoam is.
This is immaculate. That looks like brand new. They obviously galvanised them a lot better once they got to this model, because this framing is just immaculate. So you can see where the wiring comes in, or some of it comes up. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this panel to Ulrich Aluminium and get them to fold one up exactly the same.
We'll do that today?
Not today, it's nearly 5 o'clock.
Alright.
And then we're going to pull these ones out. And I've got enough from the offcuts to do those. Yeah, so we'll just waterproof this, put some plastic over it, and then I'm going to get back into prepping the roof for paint. So that's going to be the next thing. Hey guys, it's now another 4 days later. This video is really going to be all over the place. I've taken this panel away to Ulrich to have a new one folded up, so that should be ready hopefully on Monday. It's Saturday today. And we've got a few other jobs to do. We want to carry on with the roof. We're going to have to take a few mouldings off, and there's also a repair that I have to do on the roof, which we're going to have to use the sheet metal bender for, and I need to make an adjustment to that as well, so we'll get into it. Alright, one of the things you might remember when we were building this, one of the issues I had was when you open this up, there's a huge gap here, and I couldn't figure out why, and it means that the bends aren't really sharp. But I had my cousin over in Australia who watches our channel. He watched this video and he sent me a video that he had made of why there's such a big gap. And the guy, he's very, very talented in anything mechanical or fabrication. And what it is this point here on the other side is too high. It needs to be recessed down so it is sitting level with where these two pieces of angle meet. So what I need to do, and what he suggested I do, is flip this hinge upside down, grind it out so it sits in the middle, and then shim it up. So, which is a fancy term for, say, put more washers on it. So that's what we're going to do now. One problem I've run into here, when I put this thing on originally, I had the hinge sort of off to one side, if that's coming out, And this round bit here should really be in the middle. So when I turn it upside down and die grind it out, I'm not grinding out one side. The problem I run into is if I move it off to one side, or center it, then we've still got the edges of the holes exposed, which just isn't going to work. Or I can move it back a bit, which will probably work out okay. It just means that these holes are really close to the edge of the angle. But I think that's going to be the best solution, really. Yeah, alright, I'll do that. I've just drilled these new holes out. As you can see, we are seriously close to the edge, but it probably doesn't matter. It's only for 2 of the bolts and there's 6 in there. Alright, we'll carry on, and next thing is to die grind out the middle. Okay, this is about as far as we can go without really going through the edges. So I'm going to bolt this one back together, and we'll give it a go, and if it all works we'll take it apart and paint it. Okay, I've been mucking around on this for well over an hour. I had to go and get some washers, but basically let's have a look at the gap. What my cousin said was absolutely correct. If you look at this gap now, it's tiny. So if we try and fold something, I think we're going to get a much tighter fold. And we've countersunk it down in here and shimmed it up with washers, basically, just because of the size of hinge that I've got. There's not much else I can do with it. Okay, I'll put the top bit on and we'll have a go at bending something. Okay, I'm just going to put a bit of scrap in here. We'll clamp it down and bend it and see if we've got a much tighter bend. See if my cousin was right. Okay, clamp down. I've got this thing on the bench the wrong way around, but anyway. Wow. That is way sharper. Darren Bradnock, you're a very clever man. Okay. Let's just try 45. Look how crisp and clean that is, and how much it's really sharp, much sharper than the other ones. All right, that's a win. We can now make something to repair this roof. Right, the next thing we need to do is fix this hole in the roof. It was covered in silicone, as you can just see there. but it really needs to have either a patch put in it, or I've got to undo that whole seam, which I really don't want to do. So what I'm going to do is take this awning rail off here and down there. Sorry, we're a bit close because I'm on a ladder. Yeah, so I'll unpick all of this and have a look. Now underneath is the frame, so I could just bond another piece straight to the frame, but that would mean that this part's flexible and that would be fixed, and I don't think that's a good idea either. So somehow I've got to cut this out, probably put a bit that comes up underneath it and bond it in there and do it that way. All right, I'll undo all these rails and unpick part of this roof, and then we'll have a look at it and see where we're at. I've just taken this awning rail off, which wasn't too much of a major. Looks like this is just isolated to the top there, but I really want to get underneath it, which means I'm going to have to take that off. I'm going to have to take this, where are we? This awning rail off here, and these are screwed on. And those screws were put in, God, however many years ago, 46 years or something ago. So, but they are stainless, so hopefully they'll come out all right. I'm going to have to take that off anyway to paint the roof properly and then reseal it. But somehow I need to get this panel loose so I can get up underneath it and slide a patch in. So I'm just going to have to keep unpicking it and see how we go. Right, I've spent quite a while unpicking this, but I've got it to the point where that can fold back, that can come out a bit. But this is what we've got, and it goes up underneath here. So what I'd like to do is get some form of wheel that I can put on the drill that's not too harsh, just to clean that up a little bit. And I really just want to put a patch, maybe cut the worst of that out, and then slide a patch underneath with some panel bond on it, and then just either silicone or put filler over the top, which will be nice and waterproof and really strong. I'm just not quite sure how I'm going to do it, because I've got to try and get that roof skin back so I can slide it in from under there, which will be easier said than done. Alright, I've just been up to Bunnings and got one of these flappy pedal things, which are average at best. That's the bit I'm going to cut out there, and hopefully I can cut another bit up and slide it underneath. This is one that I bent up, and the reason why I fixed up the bender, because I wanted that sharp bend. Let's put it there, give you a better idea. So it's gonna fit quite nicely, and hopefully we can just cut it up to fit under there. We'll go sort of try and get in behind this, sort of around there underneath, with some panel bond on. Okay, I've got to find a way of getting that back a bit more. I've just made a template of the exact hole that I've cut up on the roof there, and I'm going to cut, really probably want to go 15-20 mil right around the edge of that, just to have something to go underneath. So I'll trim that out now and then figure out how I'm going to get it to slide underneath. Alright, finally I've managed to get a piece in there. Had to undo God knows how much to fold it back to get it in. In hindsight, I probably could have just put some silicone or something in there, and most people would have, but it's just not the right way to do it in my view. So what I'm going to do is get some silicone based like panel bond, and I'm going to lift this up and I'm going to run it in behind here, and then we're going to put some MS Sikaflex underneath this one, and then just tap it all down nicely and rivet it back together. And then once this is all down properly, you're really talking less than 1 millimetre of gap there, which is easily, you can just run a tiny bit of filler over there, and then that repair will be invisible, but also really good and strong for many years to come. Alright, this is the stuff we're going to use here, which is a high strength adhesive and sealant as well. And I might even just throw a couple of rivets in there which I can take out later, just to hold it down while it cures properly. Alright, so that's it now. It's all bonded in there, and those rivets are temporary just to hold it, but that will hold it really nice and tight and clamp it well while this stuff cures. And then once it's all done, and just before I put some filler over it, I'll just drill them out and fill in the holes. So next thing I'm going to do is just sort that seam out and that seam out, and rivet all this back together. Okay, we're all done. I'll put everything back together. We have riveted that one back down. I put plenty of silicone underneath that before I riveted it back. So after we've painted the roof, we're going to redo all these seams anyway. And put very close at the moment. Put all that back together as well for now. So that job's finished. That stuff's pretty much going off already. There's no real gaps in there. So when I put some filler on there, it'll cover it up nicely. And it's well bonded and well sealed. Alright, that's about enough for this one. It's probably long enough. On the next one, hopefully we'll have this panel back, and I'd really like to put that panel on, replace this one, that one, and that one there, and put this flashing back on, and then we're ready to start sanding the roof for paint, which won't be much fun, but we've got to do it. So we'll catch you in the next one.